Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion video. I am once again joined by MJ over at MJTV. The dynamic duo is back. But MJ, why don't you say hello to everyone by telling everyone what you thought of episode 121? Do you think it was one of the best episodes so far?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a top tier episode. A friend of mine, Kyle, on Twitter said this was a 15 out of 10. I wouldn't go that far, but it was real good. It's easily one of the top 10 episodes since this tournament started in episode 97. You know what I mean? This is easily up there. It's crazy to think, Mark, because think about this. Everybody was afraid that the Tournament of Power would be so like it would just be a tough thing to do during Super schedule, because we know they kind of crash under pressure. You look at the ROF arc, you know what I mean, and just how things can get really bad. Episode 5 is another example. But bro, since 109, we've had consistently good to phenomenal episodes, except for 119. Everything else has been good, which is really, really crazy to think. And this is no different. The second half, bro, when 17, my guy 17 looking like a deity, looking like a god, bro, with that great artwork. It was just amazing. And Aniraza looked cool, had cool abilities, and I'll let you get into his abilities in a second and the references. But this overall was just a really cool episode, and I wish we could have gotten more of them, bro.
That was what this whole discussion is really about. And like you said, you were pointing out this before we actually started recording. I just want to kind of give everyone this idea. Of course, you probably already realized this. I didn't, because I watched the episode today and I was just kind of watching it for the story. But yeah, like, this guy had a lot of the techniques that we've seen from the movies. He's had Janemba's techniques, Harunagar's techniques. He's the guy from, I can't remember off the top of my head, from Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans. He's giant, like Lord Slug and a couple other people we saw throughout the movies.
He absorbs people there, like Super 13. So
yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, they really did. And you even said this before this episode even came out, that this guy seems like a movie villain, and he really kind of needs a movie villain, goodbye. He really did. I wasn't really expecting 17 to get that, but it totally made sense in the context.
Can I blow your mind real quick?
Yes.
So, I don't know if you know Keelan, but I know people who are subbed to my channel know who he is. He helps me on my versus battles, and Keelan messaged me last night. We were texting real late at night about the episode. He messaged me, hey, you know that universes 3 and 10 are, basically the opposites, right? Like, they're the twin universes, like 6 and 7. I was like, yeah. And he goes, think about it like this. And he started sending me all these notes. Aniraza, bent space. Goku Black, ripped reality. Universe 3 merged Aniraza. Universe 10 merged Zamasu. Aniraza, celestial ki blast. Zamasu, divine wrath and holy wrath. Aniraza fires homing red ki blast. Zamasu heavenly arrow and blades of judgment, red blast that hit the ground and exploded, and they both got purple and red ki. See, the connection is because they're twin universes. I don't know if they were thinking about that, but there are some. They weren't, but there's some similarities there. I thought I was mind blown. But continue.
That's actually pretty cool. I wasn't really thinking about that, but really what this discussion kind of comes down to is Jiren versus Aniraza, or did we miss out on that fight? Would it have been better to have Universe 7 for once in this entire tournament sit out a fight and have Jiren come in and actually struggle against this guy? Having the big bag from Dragon Ball Super, at least in this current arc, go up against basically the combination of all the big bads from the original Dragon Ball Z movies, that would have been really epic and something really for the fans to see. Personally, I even think, like, there is a way they could have written this, MJ, at least in my opinion, that would have had Jiren on the ropes, at least for a second. Maybe even having him showcase some kind of strength that he hadn't shown against Hit or Goku or anyone else in this entire tournament. And having Vegeta, at the end of all that fight, still be confident, Goku still be excited, 17 still be, plain face, even Frieza still being a little bit interested, maybe even Gohan just a little bit worried, but, still this resolve to win. That would have been better character development. It would have been a better fight. I know this was an epic fight. I know this was kind of the, the lineup of all the amazing people in Universe 7 still left, and we get to see them have one last shine. I mean, even Jiren said it, speaking for basically the entirety of that team outside of probably Vegeta, Goku, or Frieza. Whoever is left on the ring at the end of this tournament, Jiren just comes in and says, I hope your last victory felt great, the last victory you'll ever experience. I really think, though, as cool as it was, Jiren should have gone up against Aniraza. That should have been the showstopper, getting this guy to be serious for once. Because I've said this so many times on my channel, Jiren, as cool as he is, isn't really interesting. We need him to go up against someone who can actually show him some force outside of Goku or Vegeta or Frieza or Gohan or 17 or anyone in Universe 7. You know, give him a challenge outside. Give anyone else a challenge outside of Universe 7 in the entire Tournament of Power. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they could have definitely written it to where they did make Aniraza more powerful, and they could have went a route where, if you were to go back to what happened in episode 100 with Kale, Jiren doesn't see anybody as threats for whatever reason. You know, he only sees Goku and Hit as threats, possibly maybe because of God Tube, and I guess Toppo told him about Goku, but at the same time, you would think they would have God Tube on everything. You know, he could watch everybody. He could see the Vegeta stuff. You know, he could see how strong Vegeta is. But the point here is, he only saw Goku and Hit as threats. He doesn't see anyone else as threats, and he really only went up against Kel because Kel was causing a ruckus and she took out one of his guys. So it would have been cool had Aniraza, at the very beginning of the episode, I'm not sure if you caught it, at the very beginning of the episode, Aniraza's like throwing rocks and stuff, and one of them goes towards Dispo, and Dispo's like, does that monster intend to take us on too? It would have been dope if he had Universe 7 stay out of this, because, I mean, Universe 7 has already fought the other half of Universe 3, and they had already, you know, been fighting Universe 4 and stuff. So you have them kind of stay out of it. Aniraza goes after the 3 members of the Pride Troopers, and you could have made him obviously more powerful enough to where he challenges Jiren. And see, this would actually be more compelling, because if Jiren is trying to put in work against these two guys, because Dispo's kind of already fatigued, it seems. He's the only one on the team showing battle damage from his fight against Hit. Toppo, you know, maybe Jiren doesn't want him to fight Toppo, so Jiren challenges him. And you do the whole fight, right? See, that's actually cool, because if you write Aniraza to be more powerful and you write him to actually give Jiren a challenge and make him a threat to Jiren, how that fixes things is that, I'm not too sure if you've seen the debate on Twitter and stuff, but everybody's kind of freaked out how Vegeta's even landing hits on Jiren.
I've seen that. Everyone's completely losing their minds.
Which is funny. I'm not going to get into how hypocritical that is, but it's funny. So anyways, you have Jiren fighting Aniraza. Jiren and Aniraza's fight could be the catalyst to why he's weakened down in 122 when Vegeta fights him and when Goku fights him after Vegeta. That could be the catalyst there. So you could have written this dude to just go crazy, and him and Jiren have this epic fight. Like, bro, you remember in the special when Goku and Jiren are having that face-off when they're free-falling? Imagine Jiren in that type of shady, dope artwork, and you have him scoring off against, like, Aniraza, like, and Jiren's, like, free-falling from the sky. That would have been, like, dope, bro. And then you could have made this so cool. And like you said, it's an interesting dynamic, because you have basically an homage to like almost every villain in Dragon Ball, or at least every movie villain, versus the big bad of the Tournament of Power, the alpha male, you know? No, he's not even an alpha, bro. The Omega. You have versing the Omega male, you know what I mean? That being, you know, Jiren. So it would have been cool to go that route, and I definitely agree, and it could have helped the story moving forward.
I would have really liked to see it, but you know, just to kind of put it in plain words, as cool as that would have been, it would have taken at least a little bit more of a rewrite or a restructuring of the logic that they used in not only the previous episode, but also this one as well, because there would have been just as many people online saying it makes no sense. Aniraza shouldn't be that strong, considering they merged those people together to make this type of antagonist. You could have worked around it, but really, even though Aniraza has a really impressive amount of techniques, even after everything that they had built up with him, I really don't think he could have done anything to harm Jiren. This guy could punch in between dimensions. He can't get snuck up on. He's fast enough as a giant lumbering, guy. Jiren would have still been able to take him out. I mean, even after everything, he wasn't focusing on him, but he was at least throwing some shade over at Universe 11 when he was trying to fight Universe 7. And Jiren was just standing proud, man. Like his force field, we got to see all those rocks just kind of disintegrate as they hit that force field. To me, personally, I don't think Aniraza, if he had tried at his peak, not even fighting Universe 7, gone after Jiren, wouldn't have actually touched him the way they made him look in this episode. And that, to me, I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Does that hurt Dragon Ball Super going forward? I don't want to say hurt because that's a really bad word here, but I mean, what does that do for Jiren? How much buildup does that make that man have?
He is, without a doubt, at least as of right now, they could always retcon it, but he is, as of right now, the strongest mortal in all of the multiverse. Again, keyword there, mortal. In all the multiverse, and even a fusion between robots and a fusion of universes is not going to matter to that. Plus, like you said earlier, the idea that it's just these 3 robots fusing with Dr. Pepperoni shouldn't really make him that strong to begin with, but we're just suspending our disbelief for that. Let's just, you know, he's a fusion, you know, every fusion is powerful, so he's a fusion, and you're right. Now, I know you're not a power scaling channel, and I'm not going to really get into it, but I will say this for the people who are interested. I've talked to my friend Keelan. I haven't talked to Seth or Chuck yet, but with Keelan, he was telling me, possibly, going off some of the statements and what we saw, is that Aniraza could technically just be, like, if you really wanted to put him at a rank, he could possibly be Super Saiyan Blue level, maybe a bit higher, like Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. Now, that's fine, and that does kind of make sense because when you think about it, you have like Goku, Vegeta, and everyone, you know, shooting their blast and trying to push him back, you know. So if he is like that Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken or Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 range, that would make sense. But to Jiren glared at a Kaioken times 20 Super Saiyan Blue Goku and did nothing to him. So you are right. To Jiren, he didn't see him as a threat because he could probably, like you said, just beat him down, and it wouldn't look anything like he did in this episode. Like, it would have been like Aniraza trying to punch the air because Jiren's so fast, you know, like it wouldn't have been like really anything to what we saw in 121. And does that hurt the story? I'm not too sure. And by the way, guys, that's just a quick little estimation. I haven't actually did a video on it yet, so I'm just saying Aniraza could be that strong. But either way, Super Saiyan Blue tier or not, that's nothing to Jiren. And like I mentioned earlier, the only reason Jiren fought Kale was because Kale had started hurting his guys. You know what I mean?
That's what you and I were talking about at the very beginning of this, was at the very beginning of not only this video, but also the entire Tournament of Power, is we were just expecting Jiren at one point to be like, okay, you take out one of my guys, I'll take out 10 of yours. And we're not really there yet, but we could still get that in this final matchup. Considering Dispo and Topo are still in the ring, to me, they're just fodder. Those guys are just fodder, and Jiren's the main appetizer, or he's the main entree. These guys are appetizers. It's going to be really interesting to see because they have done so little to humanize and weaken Jiren's character when it comes to Goku literally having to get a new technique that no one, not even the Gods of Destruction, knew that a mortal could get so quickly and be able to master as quickly as Goku's been trying to, and maybe even Vegeta and all this other stuff. This would have probably been the moment for Jiren to have some semblance of, oh my god, like, this guy isn't a god, he's just a mortal like all of us, you know, he has his faults and he's not the strongest person out there. Potentially there are other people who can beat him, who can hurt him. We didn't get to see that, and as cool as this episode is, I think it would have been really awesome to see Jiren versus Aniraza.
No, yeah, I completely agree with you on that. They could have written it and wrote it a certain way to where Aniraza was sort of like a threat to at least the Pride Troopers. Not Jiren itself, but at least to the Pride Troopers. And we got Universe 11 versus Aniraza, and it would have been kind of cool to see Universe 11 take out, you know what I mean, an actual universe. You know, then be the cause of Universe 3 actually getting erased. That would have been cool. It would have been, obviously you are right, at this current point in time, Dispo, maybe when at the start of the tournament, when he was fresher, he could probably pose a threat to someone like 17 or Frieza and stuff, but as of right now, the way he's looking, and after getting mollywopped by it, I don't think he's really gonna do much. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna fight and he will challenge. I mean, he's a Pride Trooper. He will fight and challenge, but I don't see him lasting long, especially when Frieza hasn't really done much in this tournament, and especially with 17 and his unlimited energy, you know? So I don't really see them really doing much. Topo, on the other hand, could really be of help to Jiren, but it comes down to what's going to happen, which will be fun to see.
Yeah, you know, and the thing about Topo really is that he even said he was second tier, so you know, with this episode coming up, I would really like for the Dragon Ball Super to treat Topo the same way that Dragon Ball Super always treats Vegeta, considering they've already said that he's a second tier character. Like, just completely knocking him out. Like, if Vegeta's going up against Jiren at this point, right? And this is probably another video, just saying, like, if Vegeta's going up against Jiren immediately, then Topo's probably not long for the tournament. Let's just be clear about that. But no, I agree. This would have been a better time for Jiren to fight. It would have been pretty awesome to at least break with tradition once before we get to the very end of the Tournament of Power to see Jiren and the rest of the Pride Troopers actually having to go up against something that was much more of a threat. It's weird to me. I know Goku's taken out a whole lot. I know Universe 7's taken out a whole lot, but those guys have been fighting constantly. You know, one of the things that Aniraza said, or the doctor said at the very beginning of this episode was, let's go after Universe 7 first. They have the most members. To me, I would have been like, that Jiren person's a monster. How about we go up against him and then go after the tournament, like the people who've been fighting this whole time? It might be a little tired later, but man, that's just me. I really hope and wish that they had done that, but even still, man, that episode was really awesome. I really enjoyed it. But any last words or thoughts here?
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, we're going to leave it at that. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button. That's going to notify you every single time I upload. Go down to the description section below, hit that link, and go subscribe to MJ. The guy makes some quality, top-notch Dragon Ball Super content. At the same time, I hope everyone would share this video out to all your friends so we can get this discussion going in the comment section below. It's been real, guys.